1. Dear friends, today we are starting a journey to make you aware of something that has been a blight on your life so far. That is, porn plus masturbation. Dear friends, we believe that if you read, understand and try to follow all the chapters of this guide carefully, you will be able to get rid of this addiction. Always remember one thing, and that is to refine your intention. Argument, Muslims, porn and masturbating, a main goal should be the pleasure of God. Along with this, it should also be the goal that we get rid of this addiction for our own good in the world and to live a good life. When your intention is right, you will certainly ask God for help, and whoever asks God for help with a sincere heart, God will surely listen to him. It may be late in his court but not dark. Therefore, first of all, ask God for help. Organize your religious duties, especially prayer. The example of Nofap is like a medicine, and no medicine works without the will of God. We hope that along with this medicine, you will definitely keep praying. In the coming episodes, we will tell you what this addiction has taken away from your life. And now, how can you get out of it? This series is going to be very helpful in this journey of Nofap. If you want to get the essential information about Nofap, read this series in its entirety. Inshallah, you will get answers to all questions in it.so. Friends, before understanding Nofap and porn addiction, it is very important to understand what addiction or addiction is and how and why something becomes an addiction for us. So in today's episode we will discuss the following headlines. Dopamine shamrock hash. Understanding dopamine is very important for you. Dopamine is a chemical compound, hormone, released in our brain that creates a desire for pleasure and reward. This hormone awakens in us the desire to do something. Just like the engine of a car cannot run without fuel, in the same way, if the brain reduces the release of dopamine, the movement of a person slows down, the intellect is affected, the whole body and especially the hands tremble. Sleep does not come, the body begins to stiffen and it starts moving towards death. This disease is called Parkinson's disease. Importance of dopamine in our life. Shamrock hash. This hormone is responsible for doing any work in life. Be it exam success or sports, marriage or raising children, business or job, this hormone motivates us. To date, all the great achievements people have made, all the great inventions scientists have made, all the literary stars have come into existence, the main reason for all these is dopamine to motivate people, to arouse their enthusiasm. If it did not inspire them, the great inventions that we enjoy sitting at home today would never have come into existence. Friends, as humans, Allah Almighty has placed the same system of making dopamine in us as it was in adults. But some of our bad addictions have hijacked this system. So first we need to understand how our system is hijacked. Dopamine, endorphins and reward system. Shamrock hash. As soon as our brain releases dopamine into the body to do any work, we get the strength and motivation to do that work. As soon as we complete this task, our brain releases another hormone called endorphins to reward us. As endorphins are released in the body, we feel extremely happy and satisfied. The more dopamine our brain releases to perform a task, the more endorphins are released as a reward for completing the task. And the more joy and satisfaction we feel. In psychology, this entire mechanism is called the brain's reward system. Good habit. Shamrock hash. When a person continues to do a task or a habit for a long period of time, his reward system becomes synchronized with that task or habit and becomes programmed accordingly. Now, as soon as the person thinks about this work, the brain immediately releases dopamine in his body, which gives him the motivation to do this work. In medical terms, such a situation is called addiction. Addiction can be of many types. They can be good or bad, they can be more or less powerful. From a medical point of view, we can call both good and bad habits as addictions. We can say that such a person has an addiction to exercise, or such a person is addicted to charity. But since this type of addiction does not cause any harm to a person, nor does any bad change occur in his attitudes, we call them good habits from the social point of view. Remember, friends, that all geniuses unknowingly associate their dopamine connection with good habits. Some good habits that your feedback system can develop are: 1. Ease social relations. 2. E-sports and exercises. 3. E-worship and meditation. 4. E-reading good books, etc. If the reward system is linked to such activities, then a person leads a healthy life. Bad habit or addiction. Shamrock hash. When we talk about addiction, it refers to the binding of a person's reward system to an unhealthy activity that causes them to release large amounts of dopamine and endorphins for little effort. It brings peace and satisfaction. Another major disadvantage of this type of addiction is that the reward system in the brain loses its balance and becomes dependent on the same thing. A person becomes so addicted to it that no matter how much happiness comes into his life, he feels dull because it releases very few hormones compared to addiction. So now his happiness, joy, satisfaction all become the same addiction, and he starts getting bored with daily life. For example, intoxicating heroin and opium, etc. So friends, in this episode we have understood about addiction from a general point of view. In the next episode, inshallah, we will tell you how porn becomes an addiction and how it makes you helpless.